Welcome to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. We focus on great original music from the Western New England area, both present and past. We're broadcast Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m. on WXOJLP, 103.3 FM, Northampton, Massachusetts, and on WMNBLP, 107.1 FM, North Adams, Massachusetts. And on Saturdays, from 4 to 5 p.m. on WMCBLP 107.9 FM, Greenfield, Massachusetts, and on Wednesdays at 6 to 7 p.m. on WCCH 103.5 FM, Holyoke, Massachusetts. And it's also available by streaming at valleyfreeradio.org and WMCB.net. And I'm Mark Sherry. I'm here today with Ace House Thor.
Howdy.
David Sokol.
Hey, everybody.
And our special guest today is Danny Bernini from Spirit House Recording Studios in Northampton, Massachusetts. Hey, Danny, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's going to be a great show. We've got some amazing songs that we have here that we culled from Danny's extensive repertoire of songs that they've recorded at Spirit House, which is just a great studio. And they've done songs from all kinds of genres, which we'll be giving you a little bit of a taste of. Before we get started with our, our first set, I wanted to ask Danny if you could maybe tell us a little bit about your studio, just in general. Like, what would you want, our listeners to know about it?
Yeah, so Spirit House has been around the Valley for 20 years now. I think this is actually our 20th year. We started out in 2001 as an independent record label, and our first release was a tribute to the band NRBQ. That was pretty exciting for us. We had Bonnie Raitt and Los Lobos and Steve Earle and Jay Mascis and a bunch of really great artists contribute to that record. And since then, my business partner Paul and I have run the studio, working with tons of people from around the area and outside the area over that time. And Spirit House is a residential studio, so bands come and stay, and sometimes for weeks at a time. And, we've been really lucky to generate some real awesome relationships with the artists over the years, many of them becoming, real family with us. Some of the artists we've done 5 or more records with. So it's been a really great run for us that we're, very fortunate to have had so far. And Spirit House is basically, it's an analog studio. We have an analog console and tape machines and lots of old ribbon and tube microphones and all that stuff. And then we also have all the most modern digital tools as well, which we're not afraid to use every tool available. And I guess our MO is just, we're always trying to make the best record that we can make, and trying to help our friends and artists and clients make the best record that they've ever made. That's our goal. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Danny. And Danny, besides being, the recording engineer and principal at Spirit House, you're also an accomplished musician, and we're going to, I guess, hear you a little bit on one or two of these tunes too, right?
Yeah, Paul and I are both musicians, so we end up playing on a lot of the recordings that come through Spirit House.
All right, cool. Well, you'll point that out to us, I'm sure, as we go along. So our first tune that we're going to hear is from recording artist Matt Hebert, and it's called Gateway Drug.
This winter
good life, there you should come. Oh, and the good life here is the gateway drug to a good life, there you should come. You should come, and it'll be home. The writing on the wall, and it's racing for nowhere and getting way too far, knowing who you are. It's a fire in your pocket, no fire in your heart, and it's up, down, when you're wasting away in the winter. Maybe your heart light ain't so bright. It's the feeling that you know when you're living too angry, living too cold, knowing what you know, never taking the chance to know anything you don't. And it's up, down, when you're wasting away in the winter. Maybe your heart light ain't so bright. It's a long way down when you're standing on top of the world. 'Cause where do you go from there? Where can you go? It makes you feel stranded, stagnant. It's a long way down when you're standing on top of the world. 'Cause where do you go from there? Where can you go? It makes you feel stranded. It's the feeling that you know when you wake up believing you never got sold, knowing what you know, never taking the chance to know anyone you don't. And it's up and down when you're wasting away in the winter. Maybe your heart light ain't so bright. It's a long way down when you're standing on top of the world. 'Cause where do you go from there? Where can you go? It makes you feel stranded. It's the feeling that you get when you notice that for a second you walked when you wanted to run. So where do you run to? Where do you go when you feel honest? What do you know? It's a long way down when you're standing on top of the world. 'Cause where do you go from there? Where can you go? It makes you feel stranded and stagnant. It's a long way down when you're standing on top of the world. 'Cause where do you go from there? Where can you go? It makes you feel stranded.
like shaving your face, taking out the trash and knowing your place, spending all your cash on your baby, and do it daily. Like walking the dog, cleaning up the mess, before you go off to work and make a good guess at what your woman wants, and do it daily. If you're gonna do it at all, you gotta do it daily. Do it every day, in the very best way. If you're gonna do it at all, you gotta do it daily. Do it once, do it twice, take a little advice and do it every day. Every day. Like that little mistake that you always make. Look her straight in the eyes and apologize, and never do it again, and do it daily. And when you do it again, say you're sorry and then try to do it right. Screw it up every night and apologize again, and do it daily. If you're gonna do it at all, you gotta do it daily. Do it daily. Do it every day, in the very best way. In the very best way. If you do it at all, do it once, do it twice, take little advice and do it every day. Mothers and sages and good friends and wise men say, oh, good things happen. Oh, good things happen if you do it every day. At least that's what all the good friends and the wise men and the mothers and the sages and the brothers and sisters say. If you do it at all, do it daily. Do it daily. In the very best way. Do it every day. Every day. Do it at all. Gotta do it daily. Do it once, do it twice, take a little advice. Do it every day. And little mistake that you always make. Look her straight in the eyes and apologize, and never do it again, and do it daily. If you're gonna do it at all, you gotta do it daily. Do it every day, in the very best way. Do it at all, you gotta do it daily. Do it once, do it twice, take a little advice, and do it every day. Mothers and sages and good friends and wise men say, good things will happen if you do. Mothers and sages and wise men say, good things will happen if you do every day. Every day.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm here with Ace and Mark Sherry and our special guest Danny Bernini. I'm David Sokol. You just heard Martin Sexton do it daily from a collection called The Mixtape of the Open Road. Before Martin Sexton, we heard the Ware River Club from their amazing album Cathedral, a track called Long Way Down. And we started the set with Matt Hebert from the Ware River Club, a song from his Where the Heart Beats Slow album. Track is called Gateway Drug.
Martin Sexton, by the way, he was just around here doing some shows too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was doing some of the pandemic shows. Yeah, I've been actually working on a new record with him that we just started a little less than a month ago, which is coming out really ridiculously awesome. I'm super excited for it.
So that Do It Daily song, is there anything in particular about that song that our listeners would be interested in hearing?
Yeah, I mean, that song in particular, first of all, watching Martin sing in the studio is the most ridiculous thing that anybody gets to do for a job. Honestly, Paul, my business partner, and I, a couple of weeks ago, were listening to Martin sing and just looking at each other like, geez, this is just crazy how good he is. And every time he goes into the studio to record a song, it sounds like a completely different song. That's like, he's very jazzy about it, and like he might do a pass that has a completely different bridge that wasn't in there the time before. Just amazing the control that he has over his voice and his instrument. It's really amazing. And so for that song in particular, I remember there's like a barbershop quartet in the song, and Martin went out and did the entire thing himself. It's like 8 different parts. And and he would basically go out, and he told me to name each of the tracks a different name and remind him which one was which when we were going between them. And every single voice was completely different. It sounded like a different person. He would start talking like that person, and then he would say, "Take me to Bob's track." He'd go to Bob's track, and he'd start singing like that person. They had different accents and different tones. And when it all got put together, it sounds like there's 8 people singing in the room. It's really
So cool.
That's awesome.
Then before that, Where River Club. That was a wonderful track too.
Yeah, so Where River Club is, one of my favorite bands from the area of all time. I've made 3 records with them. They're family. They're super close friends of mine. We made those records out at Longview Farm, started them at Longview Farm a long time ago, and then the most recent one, Cathedral, was done at Spirit House in Northampton when we first built the studio, and that was one of the first releases on Spirit House Records.
Did that tune, Long Way Down, did that get radio play?
That's a good question. There's a song called Broken Light on the record that got most of the AAA radio play, but Long Way Down probably got a little bit, at least in the area. I'm sure it did.
I remember it. I don't know why. It just really just brought up some really good memories when I heard it. And Matt Hebert's song Gateway Drug.
Cool. Yeah, I love that song as well. So that's a kind of interesting approach on that record. Matt had moved from Northampton to Santa Fe. So I flew to Santa Fe with a little mobile recording rig and recorded Matt singing and playing guitar. And then I brought it back here and recorded all the rest of the tracks with local players. Some of the guys from Lux to Lux, my nephews that play in Lux to Lux, and Paul, my partner, who played all the wacky vintage keyboards that are all over that record. So basically that's how we did it. We captured Matt first and then did everything else up here at the studio.
Well, we've got some more cool songs coming up for the next set. And I guess this one will start out with a really playful tune by the band Yes Darling, The Things You Could Be.
I just thought of a song.
You just thought of a song?
I did.
Just now?
I did. It's a love song.
Oh.
It's about how much I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
But it's like how I love you for the person you are, but I love you even more for the person you could be.
What?
Yeah. No, it's nice.
No.
Now check it out. All the things you are to me aren't half as good as the things that you could be.
No. That's not nice,
no,
honey.
It's a love song.
That's not a nice thing to say.
Now try with me.
Okay.
All the things you are to me aren't half as good as the things that you could be.
No, that's
See?
not. No,
that's
that is
good.
not nice.
Now check it out.
Oh God.
Would you be my calendar so I could date you?
Oh.
Would you play chess with me so I could mate you?
Maybe.
Would you be my song so I could sing you?
Oh, that's nice.
Would you be my drum so I could bang you?
Oh, easy.
All the things you are to me aren't half as good as the things that you could be.
All right, let me try.
Yeah, try it.
All right. Would you be my clothes so I could change you?
No, that's...
Be some furniture so I could rearrange you?
No, it's a love song.
Would you be an Easter egg so I could hide you?
That sounds all right.
Or be a carousel so I could ride you?
All the things you are to me aren't half as good as the things that you could be. Would you give your ace freely so I could kiss you?
What? Be my 10 o'clock train so I could miss you?
Oh.
Would you be my coffee so I could grind you?
Be my good cause so I could get behind you? All the things you are to me aren't half as good as the things that you could be.
if you're a good boy just like I told
I'll be
you.
good if I remove the wrapper like I did before.
Then you could be my bubble gum and I could blow.
Yeah, all the things you are to me are half as good as the things that you could be. Would you be my band so I could swing you?
Would you be my bell so I could ding you?
Ding me. Would you be my room so I could be inside you?
Only if you wear a suit that I could see through.
All the things you are to me are half as good as the other things. Don't be misunderstood. Everything you are is really something good. But think, if you were all of these things too, what you would be to me.
Round and round it goes. We're tired, I suppose. Satisfied at by degree. There's certain need to be. It's times like these I just can't see. Try to find a way. Gets bigger every day. Tell them all you do. It's such a simple song. I'd listen, but it's so damn long. Another day I find shining in your mind, and tell them all you do and find. Just read between the lines. Near the end with one more Wake up from the back of your mind. The day I feel inside us. Pick yourself up like I feel I'm dreaming. Another day and it's all been done. Yes, nothing more to say to me. It's been a couple years since I looked at someone with some urgency. How hard I've tried, but I'll never give up. My mind keeps coming back to you. And in a little while you'll appear in a dream, and I won't know who you are. You're so far away from me. I'm calling from the only payphone left in service in this town. Oh, you forgot to say it's over. Now it's over. You are so far away from me. You are so far away from me, but you are alright. Keep coming back to every night. No loose change would ever help me reach you. No bouquet, a sentimental cliche. I must admit, I'm an addict, and I need a simple fix just to get me through this loneliness. I'm calling from the only payphone. Maybe this time you'll be around. Oh, you forgot to say it's over. Now it's over. You are so far away from me. You are so far away from me, but you are alright. Keep coming back to every night. So far away from me, you're where you wanna be. You are alright. Keep coming back to every night.
And welcome back to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm Ace Housethor, joined this week by David Sokol, Mark Sherry, and our special guest, Danny Bernini from Spirit House Recording over in Northampton, Massachusetts. You just heard So Far Away by Lux Deluxe. Before that, 87 Highland Avenue by The Glad Machine, and starting things off, The Things That You Could Be by Yes Darlin'. That is a fun little set.
Yeah. So Danny, you've got a connection, a familial connection. I mean, to the Lux Deluxe tune there, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, Lux Deluxe is my son's band and my two nephews, and then a couple of their friends that they met at PVPA. A lot of people say that they have some NRBQ influences, and I would say that's probably from me constantly playing NRBQ records around the house. My son Gabe, who also plays a little bit of drums, I think the only way that he knows how to play is like Tommy Ottolino. You know, we've recorded probably 1,000 hours of those guys over the last 20 years, or more than 20 years now.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And yeah, it's a blast to watch them grow and see them. You know, they used to, when I was playing in the band Spirit House back, way back, Lux Deluxe would open up for us sometimes when they were like, 10 years old or maybe a little older. And it was pretty fun to watch them play all these like classic rock songs. They play NRBQ when they were like 14. So
wow.
And they did it with such
Yeah.
respect. That's one of the things
Yes.
I loved
Yeah.
about seeing Lux Deluxe was how much respect they showed toward those Q songs. And
Yeah.
it's so catchy. It's just so
Yeah.
full of hooks. And
So retro, but so modern. It's great.
Yeah.
And speaking of catchy, that Glad Machine song, 87 Highland Avenue,
Yeah.
that song, I just think that's a great song. It just builds and builds, and the harmonies are superb.
Yeah, those guys are all about the hooks. That's the whole record is like that. It's just loaded with hooks, super catchy tunes. And that record did really well in a lot of like pop circles and things. And great guys from the area. We had a blast making that record. They were doing sessions at the studio like every Monday night. That was our session with those guys for like a year.
Dan, you got such a great sound on that record too. It's big. It feels. I mean, the whole album, the whole Glad Machine album, it feels like it's got a little Boston, little cars, a little Cheap Trick. There's something really. Did you approach the studio work on the Glad Machine record any differently from other records, just because of the nature of what they were doing?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's records where the whole idea is to make it like a chill 70s, not hyped up kind of record. And the Glad Machine is the opposite of that, where you want everything really jumping out of the speakers and super present. And we were going for like really big drum sounds and, packed, stacked vocals and all that kind of stuff, which I love doing. It's a blast doing those kind of records.
And so before those tunes, we heard, I would say, and it could have been an old vaudeville show coming from Yes Darling.
Yeah.
I'm sure the recording session for that must have been an absolute laugh riot. Like, wow.
Yeah. One of my favorite records that we've done in a long time, honestly. When we tracked the record, when we tracked the basic tracks, it was very live. So we did vocals, Ryan's guitar, the bass, drums, and piano all completely live. All of the vocals are the keeper vocals from the basic tracks, and we were recording to tape. So, if they messed up a vocal, we were redoing everybody, not just punching in a vocal. We were redoing the whole band. Then we brought in a real string section and real horn section, and it was just a real joy. And those songs are so witty. The whole record is just so witty. Their writing is awesome. And
well, let's start our next set out with a tune that I know you know well by Andrew Jones and Spirit House called Elle s'appelle Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Et l'ecstasy. J'aime une fille, elle s'appelle Barbie. J'aime une fille, elle s'appelle Barbie. Je suis tombée amoureuse d'une jeune enchanteuse. Ses yeux, sa voix, ses lèvres ont volé tous mes rêves. Sa voix, ses lèvres ont volé tous mes rêves. Oh là là, oh là là, oh là là, ah. Oh là là, 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 ah. Oh là là, oh là là. Elle va me quitter. Les filles vont où elles veulent. Moi je serai toute seule. Les filles vont où elles veulent. Moi je serai toute seule. Pauvre moi je suis entre la misère et l'ecstasy. J'aime une fille. Elle s'appelle Barbie.
shake, yeah, I'm cold when I wake. The dream I was having, I'm glad it was fake. My mother was right, I have to relax. These thoughts I am having are holding me back. It may sound depressing, yeah, I know it's so sad. It's the happiest thought that I've ever had. Then how come I wake and I feel I will break? Yeah, I'm broken. I'm broken. Come to the end of chapter 2. It wasn't that long, but now I'm with you. I shall go to the city and start my life. Write the next chapter and hope you survive. I feel it collapsing inside me. My life will I struggle inside. Could you please be my constant? 'Cause I've 50 thoughts at a time. Yeah, don't leave me now. I need you by my side. Don't leave me now. I need you by my side. Now that I've left, I can finally see. Don't expect what you want, 'cause it won't come to be. Every day I wake up in the same single bed, unwillingly stuck here inside my head. 'Cause I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm broken. Feel it collapsing inside me. My life will I struggle inside. I need a constant reminder that the happiness in me won't die. Don't leave me now. I need you by my side. Everything about her is lovely, and I can't get her off of my mind. Could you please be my constant? 'Cause I've 50 thoughts at a time. Yeah, don't leave me now. I need you by my side. Don't leave me now. I need you by my side. 'Cause I'm without you.
Welcome back to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm David Sokol, and I'm here with Ace House Thor and Mark Sherry, and our special guest, Danny Bernini. We just heard Sun Parade, Need You by My Side. And we started the set with El Sapel Barbie by Andrew Jones and Spirit House, which is a track that you play on, right, Danny?
That's right. Yeah. I played bass guitar on that one and little other stuff. Played some electric guitar. And Spirit House is a band that I've been in for a long time. That's where the name for the studio came from. And it's a band that was started by my friend Andrew Jones, who I met in the Bahamas, singer-songwriter from the Bahamas. He came up to Longview Farm, where I used to work, and did some recordings with me. And I started bringing in some local area guys to play on the recordings. And pretty much everybody that came in to play on those recordings ended up being part of this band for the last, 25 or more years. and it's a real family. We get together, and it's really about getting together and hanging out and catching up as much as it is, playing the music.
And again, that's your studio, Spirit House Recording, in Northampton, Massachusetts, which I'm sure many of our listeners will want to know more about after hearing all the great stuff you've done. So after we heard Elsa Bell Barbie, which you told us off air, I guess was a little surprised about where that came from.
That it's about a Barbie doll?
Yes, about a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
He's in love with a Barbie doll. Okay.
Yeah.
But your album is called Dream Palace. Great title.
Right. Yes. That's another thing Andrew came up with. There was a venue in New Orleans that Andrew went to, and he saw an artist named Exuma, the Obia man, who became a very big influence. Yeah, so he's an artist from the Bahamas who also has performed on some Spirit House records and things, and big inspiration to Andrew. And the first time that he ever saw him was at this place called the Dream Palace in New Orleans, and I think it might have even been during Jazz Fest. So anyways, that's the cover photo on the album.
That's so cool. And then after that, we had actually Sun Parade, Need You By My Side, which is so brilliantly constructed. There's so much going on there, but it's all very subtly done. I love it.
That is the very first thing that Paul and I produced with Chris Jennings, the lead singer of Sun Parade. It's him and Jeff Lewis. But anyways, yeah, we were really excited when that song got so much airplay. And it's been really fun to watch the Sun Parade grow from that point. Like I said, that was Chris when he was first starting out, really. It's fun to watch any of these young kids that we work with develop and come up with more new stuff. And we're actually really excited because we're working on some new stuff with them right now. So, and we haven't done that in probably 10 years. So we're excited about that.
Annie, I'm just so blown away by the variety of music that you've been involved with. It's really remarkable. This set list today is such a great example of just the range of your work and what you've done.
Yeah, well, that's what keeps it exciting. Literally within the same year, we'll have, some jazz records and some folk records, and then some hair metal 80s, bombastic metal records, So it really runs the gamut. And I love that. It keeps it exciting.
So for our last set, we're going to start it off with a song by Acoustic Junction, Oh Me, Oh My.
Well, she left town about a year ago. She was moving too fast, I was moving too slow. But all this time I knew she would know, no matter how far she could go. She'd be back in my arms. Now she's here putting on her charm. And oh me, oh my, she got that look back in her eye. Oh mama, ooh-wee, it's beginning to feel like it used to be. You can hold your breath in a moment's gasp, but all good things are meant to last. We dig up the dirt, we dig up the past. Hold on to nothing when it comes too fast. It's love, it's slow, it's all that I know. Comes from the heart and leaves when you go. Oh me, oh my, she got that look back in her eye. Oh mama, ooh-wee, it's beginning to feel like it used to be. The setting sun, where we'll start all over like we've just begun. And oh me, oh my, she got that look
we stumble from the scene into the sunset. Into the sunset. Into the sunset. Into the sunset. Because today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. I always ask for money, but I always get a sweater resigned to the fact that it ain't ever getting better. Clip-on ties, all the trousers, all the ugly pair of socks. You might as well just give me a bag of rocks. A bag of rocks. Big bag of rocks. Because today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Just send the money, forget the card. Just send the money, forget the card. Forget the presents, forget the card. Just send the money, just send the money. I've been searching for that monkey since before the crack of dawn. Felt the chill go up my spine, there's something spooky going on. Staring in the mirror and my eyes did not believe it's the monkey staring back at me. Because today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire. Today's my birthday and the cake is on fire.
All right, you just heard The Birthday Song by Spooky Daily Pride. We had Acoustic Junction, Oh Me Oh My, and I'm Mark Sherry, and I'm here with Ace House Store, David Sokol, and our special guests from Spirit House Recording Studios in Northampton, Massachusetts, Danny Bernini. So Danny, Spooky Daily Pride song, I was saying before, I can't get that song out of my head. It is so...
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that Spooky Daily Pride was another solo artist that I started working with Matt Cullen, helping me produce it. The solo artist is a guy named Brendan Daly from Boston, who throughout the process of making the record, we decided that his name was Spooky. So now he's Spooky and has been ever since. I was the drummer in the band and co-wrote a lot of the record. I co-wrote that song, The Birthday Song, and a bunch of other ones on the record. That song in particular was the first time I didn't start off as a drummer early on. I was a guitar player. And that was the first time that I ever played in the studio with a real bass player. T-Bone Walk, the bass player from Hall & Oates, and who had played with Elvis Costello and Bob Dylan and a whole bunch of other people, came into the studio, and he was playing bass and I was playing drums. So it was a little nerve-wracking, but we totally hit it off and had a blast. And then T-Bone came into the control room and we were talking, and we were saying it would be cool to have like a wacky piano part in the beginning of this, and T-Bone was like, I play a little piano, so he sat down and he started playing, and it was like, are you kidding me? And so that ended up being that intro, and it was a super fun band. Spooky was just a maniac on stage, just Tom Waits kind of front man, and just...
Was that his image of It's Your Birthday and the Cake is on Fire?
Actually, that one was mine.
That's yours.
Yeah, saying earlier, my brother calls me on my birthday every year and plays that for me over the phone. And I think he calls everybody that has a birthday with that. Yeah.
Acoustic Junction.
Yeah, so Acoustic Junction is a band that really kind of honestly started off my career as a producer. We used to work at a studio called Longview Farm in North Brookfield, Mass, where tons of people worked, the Stones and Aerosmith and Jay Giles. And when I was starting out there as an intern and learning to engineer, Acoustic Junction was coming in to make a record. And my mentor, Jesse Henderson, who was the main engineer, chief engineer there, went on vacation and told me I was doing the record. So that was my first record. Yeah, and it was pretty great. They had no idea that it was my first full record, and I ended up making 5 records with them. And that record that you heard is from the most recent record. So yeah, that was kind of my launching pad. And I'm still super close friends with Reed and the other guys. And Reed actually just messaged me the other day and said, let's get together and make a record. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Danny, thanks so much for sharing, all these experiences and your great stories about these recording sessions. It's really been great.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. We're so lucky to have so much awesome music around the area, and it's great to see you guys supporting it. Thanks a lot.
And thank you all for visiting with us today at the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. We hope you enjoyed some great original music from Western New England artists. I'm Ace Housethor, here today with Mark Sherry, David Sokol, and our special guest again, Danny Bernini. The New Music Alliance Radio Hour is brought to you by the New Music Alliance, which is a 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to assist and advance the careers of talented creative local musicians who write original music, and to promote the extended Western New England area as a destination for original music writing, production, and performances. If you like what we're doing here on the show, tell your friends about it, and like the New Music Alliance on Facebook. Have you heard some great original music from a local artist from Western Massachusetts, Central Connecticut, or Southern Vermont and would like to hear it played on the show? Or are you a local Western New England musician who'd like to have your original music considered to be on a show? If yes, send your recommendations with links if possible to newmusicalliance@gmail.com. We'll do our best to get as many as we can on the air. Join us next week with some more great tunes from excited local artists. Please remember to stay safe, wear your masks, socially distance if you're able to do so, spread only the love. Let's have Charles and Khalif Neville take us out today with African Eyes, and as we always say, until next week,
Keep
on
rockin'!